So again, I do thank you for taking my call, Havalyn. And of course, as you know, last time, and if you have listened to the other interviews I've conducted on plantfuelfitlife.com, one thing that I ask everyone that I interview is, what made you decide to live a plant-based lifestyle?
Well, for me, um, it was actually a combination of things. One, just I kind of stumbled on a lot of information that I actually wasn't even looking for, but it was just information that kind of was coming to me in reference to how how animals were treated. I started meeting different people who worked in the meat industry. And actually, I was one of the employees for Tyson Chicken Factory. And I personally saw it myself as to the treatment of animals and just kind of doing my own research. And on top of just doing my own research and getting in touch with my spirituality, it all kind of just tied in. One day it was like, this is all making sense to me, and I just slowly but surely started to wean myself off of eating meat,
Okay.
and the rest was kind of history.
What did you say?
I said basically the rest was history. Just just kind of coming across a lot of different people and with my own experiences, I don't know, it just made a lot of sense. And working in the meat industry, understanding how meat is processed, and that's something that goes into our mouths, just realizing the process that, meat goes through, something that's live, that had a lifespan, it's now gone because I want to have, some chicken on my plate. So
Right.
it put me in a very deep mental space as to what I felt was important, um, and how precious life is in general. During that time, I was on a spiritual journey as well. So everything just kind of tied itself into me, eating meat, and the rest was history. So yeah,
Okay.
that's yeah,
So that's real interesting, and I do remember you telling me that before. Now, one thing I wanted to
yeah.
ask you about that, since you were working in a meat factory firsthand, first off, working for Tyson, did they give you all, I guess, special discount off the chicken, where you get a bunch of chicken or something when you work there?
No, we actually the work environment for the employees was very harsh.
Okay.
The temperature, the way we were treated as employees, it was almost as if we were treated like the livestock they were killing every day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and there was no unions, and it was a lot of different things that that really uh, kind of it wasn't a good environment. I'll say that.
Oh,
Um, and it wasn't a good environment for the employees because we worked extensive hours. Our pay wage was very low, and it was horrible conditions. I could say that. I mean, just having to endure standing on your feet stationary for sometimes 8 or 9 hours, not doing anything but cutting certain parts of chickens all day. It just weighs on you mentally. So
okay.
no.
So I guess so to say when you woke up from, consuming meat and decided to go about this lifestyle, did you go to the extreme lengths of freeing chickens in the factory, or saying stop cutting it? What did you have that type of freak out moment while you was in the meat factory?
No, it wasn't that. It was just, I just had an epiphany about what I needed to do because I knew that if I could change myself, I would be able to change other people by leading through example. But I didn't go to any extremes. I would say that I was basically my extreme was kind of like preaching the message.
Okay.
It's sort of one of those things where, when you get enlightened or, when you first get saved or whatever, you want to spread it to the world.
Right.
It was kind of one of those things. I would say that was pretty much my extreme, is trying to kind of, inform everybody that, no, we shouldn't be eating meat and, da 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 da. And that was kind of my way of extremism, so
Understood.
to
'Cause
speak.
a lot of people do that when they get good information. They want to start sharing it with the masses, but a lot of times the way we share that information isn't received the right way with the right intention, but it's all to the good. Now, I do remember you are from Mississippi, correct?
Yes.
Okay, now when you were working in the meat factory, was that in Mississippi?
No, that was actually in Texas.
Okay, Texas. Oh wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Carthage, Texas, yeah. I lived in Shreveport, Louisiana
Okay.
at that particular time. And Shreveport to Carthage, Texas was roughly about an hour and 30 minutes.
Okay.
So I would have to drive an hour and 30 minutes to work and an hour and 30 minutes back.
Wow. And you know what? Speaking of that, just to get off subject, a lot of people don't understand going to work is a job in itself. So you talking about you were taking 90 minutes a day, basically back and
Mm-hmm.
forth. So 180 minutes just to go to work. And then at
Right.
work for 8 to 9 hours standing up doing something like that. Yes, that will completely mess up your mental psyche. So my
Yeah.
hat goes off to you for the amount of time you did that, the hustle you put in, because going to work like that, it's a job in itself, and then doing that type of work, that's enough to make you feel like a straight up zombie almost. So wow,
Right. A new millennium slave, so to speak.
yeah, basically, what I'm saying, basically. Now,
Yeah.
so just to segue into the next question now, since you said that you were using it to basically tell other people and to enlighten other people, when I guess you decided to go about the new lifestyle of plant-based, was it strictly for health and wellness, or for you, was it because of you seeing the cruel treatment towards animals and you feel like you wanted to be that new voice for the animal rights movement?
I wouldn't necessarily say it was for the. I'm not necessarily an animal rights activist.
Okay. An ethical vegan, as they
If
say.
that, but I am the type of human being that believes that all life uh, has a right to live its own purpose.
Right.
Um, so I don't know what you would I don't know what you would call that, but I do believe that life is meant to be lived, and the whole live and let live type of thing. Um, but I also am one to believe that everybody has the right to the type of life to live. So if they decide that they want to eat meat, then that's something that they decide that they want to do. So I don't necessarily call myself an activist to that degree.
Right.
But I do believe that just watching certain people and certain interviews that have been done, I do believe that if we stopped our consumption of meat, we could really save the planet. A lot of people don't know that. That the carbon monoxide emissions and all of that's coming from having to take care of these animals on these farms that are being slaughtered.
Right.
And, global warming is usually attributed to cows. A lot of people don't know that.
Right.
So I just feel like we don't, vegans are the example that you can live your life without having meat, because that's the myth. I have to have meat or I'm going to die. No, you're not. Because we are here every day proving, proving that to be a myth, that we can actually live a life without having meat, flesh. But and I think too that we need to change the vocabulary that we use when it comes to meat and flesh, because I feel like I eat meat every day. When I cut into a coconut, I'm eating the meat of that coconut.
True.
I don't eat flesh, which is blood.
Right.
So I feel like a lot of times when you're able to change the language, it triggers something in the person's psyche to where, if they pick up this thing that they once called meat and they can say that they're eating flesh now, it kind of changes your psychological view on what you consider meat and what you consider flesh. And so for me, I just try to educate people in that dynamic to where, you can assimilate certain things to trigger something in the brain to where they're able to see things for what they really are instead of what they want them to be.
Exactly.
Because, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I am a meat eater. The meat of a watermelon, the meat of a coconut, like I said, the inside of any fruit is the meat thereof.
Yeah.
And biblically, I mean, if you want to take it there, it's, every herb-bearing seed shall be meat for you for food. And so I just take on that approach at this point, when I'm trying to educate people about eating meat versus flesh. But there is a difference.
And that's a good analogy to use too, and it's one thing that you said I want to kind of go deeper with, what I'm saying, because that's just something I like to do when I'm on the phone with another melanoid plant-based person of African descent. We like to go deep sometimes. So a lot of people, a lot of ethical vegans, as they call it, because, I don't think of myself as an ethical vegan. I live the plant-based lifestyle because I do it for my health and wellness. However, I don't claim a title with it, because a lot of times people say, oh, I'm this, I'm that. I kind of know a lot of getting mixed up in the titles, because at the end of the day, every one of these new campaign or movement, quote unquote, always comes with an agenda. And, sad to say, unfortunately, that agenda does not include black people. So if you want to look at the whole animal rights agenda, the vegan movement and all that type of stuff, they'll gladly take some black people co-signing it. They'll gladly take some black people as the spokespeople for it. But at the end of the day, when them checks get written and then money gets dispensed, none of it goes towards us. So it's like, that's one of the biggest things that, I kind of make sure that people understand that I'm not a part of. Because when you speak of things like, vegans telling you, oh, it's better for the planet. Well, let's visit that real quick. Who messed the planet up? The same people that are talking about we need to help make it better. So it's like, do you really care about making it better? Do you care about people funding this new agenda? And then when you get to talking about people slaughtering animals, who created the slaughter shops? You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Right.
you really have to dig deeper with stuff like that. That's why I try not to go with that whole ethical vegan title or animal rights, because don't get me wrong, I love animals. I love animals. You know, I had a pet years ago. I'm looking to get another pet. You know, I love animals, but I have a fight as a black man. You know, I have to
Right.
continuously fight for my black women. I have black children. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me
Right.
to ignore the color of my skin that still persecutes me every day in this quote unquote free country, it's almost impossible for me to get behind something else without making sure my plight is good. So,
Right.
Haviland, you know, the next question for you is, what do you think of these quote unquote black ethical vegans that, you know, want to support stuff like PETA, or even to segue to something else, want to support stuff like the Women's March, or all of this other stuff that loves to grab black folks and make them a part of their agenda. But when that check comes, leaves black folks looking for crumbs. What do you think about that?
Well, for me, um, I think we always kind of blindly go into certain things without fully understanding what we're getting into,
Mm,
and not really understanding where the underlying power of the whole agenda is.
right.
People were upset with Lil Wayne because of the whole Black Lives Matter movement, and he said that he is not a part of that movement. He doesn't want to have anything to do with that. That has nothing to do with him. And people were upset. But when you look at who is behind and funding the Black Lives Matter movement, people will understand why he said that. Because it was an agenda. And there are people that are behind this movement, that are funding this movement, that don't look like us, that don't have our best interests at heart. It's just a hashtag
True.
with a paper trail behind it that's being funded by people who are capitalizing off of our pain.
Yes.
And this is something that is a perpetual part of our society, unfortunately. Everything from the women's movement of the 1960s, which pretty much had nothing to do with black women, but we wanted to stand alongside of white women to fight for women's rights when we were still fighting to be human beings.
Right.
And out of the women's liberation movement of the 1960s, we got welfare and single-parent homes from that movement, and we don't see that. And I mean, everything from everything from the civil rights movement to this women lives movement to the ethical movement, we don't fund these particular particular movements. So the agenda will always be in the best interest of those who control the financial backing of those movements. So I think that we need to be more conscious of what we tend to attach ourselves to, because we're still fighting for human rights.
Right.
And, if a black man can be killed by a police officer with no due process, or this cop gets off with pay, that's my main focus, as opposed to an animal being slaughtered in, a slaughterhouse, and I'm next to, Amber and Becky, and we're all out there trying to kumbaya, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
In front of some slaughterhouse. Like, no, I mean, And not to say that there's anything wrong with that, but that's their fight.
Exactly.
They're fighting the same fight that we're fighting.
Exactly.
So I don't knock black people for doing it, because I feel like we all at some point want to be a part of something. I just always feel like we always get misguided behind what is really important within our own community, and that's the sad part, because we're so easily persuaded with this illusion of inclusion. We feel like we've arrived, and so I just wish we could get to a point where if we were okay as a nation of people, I would have no problem with us going off doing certain things, but like you said, you're fighting as a black man still. Being vegan, your human rights are more important.
Exactly.
So.
And that's not, and like I said, that's not to slight those particular movements, but at the end of the day, I'm black first, and I'm unapologetically black. So a lot of times when people ask me, "Oh, are you doing it for this? Are you doing it for that?" No, it has nothing to do with that whatsoever. It's not for religious reasons. It's not for any animals. It's not for the planet. This is something I chose to do because I had health issues years ago, and I decided to start being healthier. Because at the end of the day, people can say left and right that, oh, living a vegan lifestyle helps the planet, but you still got people walking around smoking cigarettes. You know what I'm saying? And those cigarettes that they're smoking are polluting the air left and right. You still got people that are dumping waste left and right, doing all kind of stuff. Even these military drills and things that they do to blow up stuff, all that stuff emits things into the atmosphere that are not natural and mess it up. So you telling me just by me not eating flesh or meat or whatever is going to really save the planet? Well, why don't you tell all those other people that's polluting it too to stop doing what they doing? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's why, like, I don't even go there with people because, the only gripe I have is when I see black people standing up as they always have been doing. Unfortunately, historically, black people have always been caping for other organizations while putting themselves to the back. And the minute that you really start empowering yourself and uplifting yourself, they call you divisive. So it's almost like, no, you have to be unapologetic. You have to be unafraid to live in your truth as a black person to empower yourself. If you want to eat healthy, eat healthy. If you want to do what you want to do that. But at the end of the day, don't let nobody tell you that's a crime, because it isn't. You know what I'm saying? But, I just really wanted to touch bases on that with you, because I always ask people about that because, you never know sometimes, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I pretty much got that idea with you, but you never know sometimes what motivates someone. And, like, speaking to someone that has actually worked in a slaughterhouse, that's a very unique situation, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't meet that many people that worked in slaughterhouses before, so it's good to know that, you still in line with your people and your plight, you know what I'm saying, which is important, which is very important. But switching things up, I have to say this as a man. One of the things that basically made me reach out to you, not the main thing, but one of the things is you are a very beautiful woman. You
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. You keep yourself in good shape and everything, and that's one thing that I really want to ask because, there's a lot of vegan junk food out here. And it's so damn good. Yes, it's so damn good. I think you posted a picture of some cheesecake or something. Like, oh, the vegan junk food calls our name. It's so damn good, but you still manage to keep you still manage to keep your body tight and everything. Like, what do you do? How do you stay so fit?
Well, I always feel like, and this has been my thing. We as a people, I feel like, well, as a gender, I'm speaking specifically to black women.
Okay.
We as a gender were always the hardest working women on the planet.
Yes.
Whether we were on the field, whether we were in battle, when you look at pictures of the ancient women, uh, Nefertiti, all of these beautiful, beautiful African queens. None of them were obese.
Okay.
Have you seen the statues of these queens and that stood next to kings? They weren't obese.
Yes.
When you think about how we were in the field, picking cotton, or we were working in factories, or in the 20s, the 30s, and the 40s, obesity was not something that we dealt with. You had your big mamas and things like that, but for the most part, we were fit nation women,
Yes.
especially during the 70s. I mean,
Especially during the
you
70s.
had Pam Grier.
Uh-huh.
Woo, you had Pam Grier. You had Selma from Good Times, which was my idol. You had we had all of these voluptuous, beautiful, and these were everyday women.
Yeah, they were.
You could see a woman like Pam Grier. She was in every neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
We glorified ourselves by doing the right things. We may not have, been in the gym, but we were active. We did things. We walked. We were with our men. We were at home. We were cooking. We were doing all of these physical things. And I grew up with a working mother, and I could attribute a lot of it to genetics, but I had aunts who were like workout fanatics. So I grew up with that mentality because I had aunts that were workout gurus. And I would watch them work out. I would watch, my aunt, who was actually our next door neighbor. She would have her friends over, and they would have their I would, be stretching and working out with her. And I just saw how obsessed they were with the way they looked. And I never thought it was vain. I always felt like they wanted to look their best. And they still, to this day, are very fit. And I told myself that's how I wanted to be. And I've just lived an active lifestyle. Like I've always, I ran track, when I was younger. I love volleyball. I swim. I'm always doing something. I'm always trying to push myself to the next level. And I want to be that. I want to be that woman that didn't let herself go. You know what I mean? I feel like we have gotten to a point as a race of women where we're so obsessed with money. We're so obsessed with keeping the imagery of independence, working hard, but we lose sight of our own bodies.
Yes.
So I feel like for me, that is the most precious asset that we all have. I mean, you can go to school and get you a degree. That's fine. But if you're not taking care of your body, if you're not eating well, you won't even be able to go out to work towards that thing that you have. And so I just feel like we have lost sight of taking care of our temples. And I always want to be that motivating force for black women, especially black women. Say, hey, you can eat well, you can be fit, and you can live the life that you want to live. You can have the energy that you need. You can, you can have it all. Just don't lose sight of what is really important. It's not those, accolades on your wall or this or that. It's making sure that you're able to take care of your body and be healthy, while doing it. That's the most important thing, and that's something that I don't want black women to, to lose sight of. It's like, we make time to go get our hair done. We can, you could put, a couple hours in at the gym, or, 30 minutes in at the gym, you know. I think it's important that we start to get to a point where we take care of our bodies. And I've just always been that type of person, ever since I was young. So for me, that is the most important asset that I have, and I just work towards it every day.
That's good. I mean, that's one of the things about working out, because I've actually started working out myself aggressively over the past few months, and it's truly a lifestyle. Because the minute you start exercising continuously, you want to eat healthier, because you start searching for things that are going to help you get energy, or in my case, going to help you gain muscle. So
Yeah,
it's one thing about working out on a casual level or really being committed to it. Like whether you're the type of person that just goes and gets some cardio in or whatever, or
right,
you weight train like I do. So it's one of those things that you truly make a lifestyle. And the thing is, some people don't understand how simple it is to make it a lifestyle, because they think about what they want to be, and then the idea of that work comes into their head, because some people, the social media has made going to the gym the new club. So people go to the gym just to post their selfies and put on their little cute workout clothes, but don't even touch the treadmill. They don't even touch the weights. They just in
right,
there just to show people. It's all about, oh, I'm about to get it in. They take the gym selfie and don't even touch the equipment. But if you are truly
right,
about that workout life, you coming in there with your t-shirt, they may have a little bleach stain on it, with your little, shorts on them that don't match your socks. You coming in to put in work. It ain't about being cute. You know what I'm saying? So
right,
it's something that I think everybody should do. Like you said, at least 30 minutes to an hour a day. You know what I'm saying? Because when you work out, you actually release energy throughout your system that can cure any ailment, that can keep you happy, that can put peace without your
right.
body. But, a lot of people just think of it as, oh, it's so hard. No, it's something that's going to put your body at ease. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
it will help with so many different things, and it's good to just talk to a woman that is about that fit life, and also encourage another woman, because sad to say, I'm not gonna say all, but some black women don't see that as something that's a priority. You know what I'm saying? Because you got those women that tell themselves, oh, this is just my genes, I got good genes. You can't really hold on to that for too long. You know what I'm saying? Because
right,
you have to have some level of maintaining those quote unquote good genes, because in some cases you may be one meal away from them genes going to a way, and you just packing on all them pounds that you don't want. So like, it's good to kind of like stick to a game plan, just something that's gonna keep you healthy. That's all. It's not about necessarily
right,
looking a certain way, but just being healthy at the end of the day.
right, right. And you know, as far as the gym, I let people know, listen, the world is your gym. You don't have to have a membership to be anywhere. I don't. I work out from home. I've been doing this for, 2 years. I used to go to the gym, but I suffered a couple of injuries, and, the videos that I post, I'm at home, and so I think that people, people get comfortable with saying how hard it is. I think that's the thing. We've gotten so comfortable with making excuses, um, instead of actually just doing it and putting in the effort to stay committed to a healthier lifestyle, because it's not, like you said, it's not as hard as we make it out to be. It's really something that you could wake up and do at home.
Yes.
I mean, you can hop right out of bed and do some squats. You can hop out of bed and do jumping jacks. You can hop out of bed and, whatever you can do at the gym, you can do at home.
True.
And I try to eradicate that, because I don't deal with excuses. I try to make everything that I do as simple as possible so someone can say, you know what, I don't have no excuse. If she can do it, I can do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can do it. I can do it. I'm sitting down, I'm watching, Scandal or whatever is on TV. I don't know. I don't watch television. I think the last show I watched was, oh gosh, it was about 4 or 5 months ago.
Oh, wow.
I watch very little. Yeah, I watch very little television because my living room is my gym.
Oh, okay. Nothing
So
wrong with that.
yeah, so I just feel like we stop putting ourselves first, and that's detrimental. You can't just work, and think about money all the time without thinking about your body and your temple and how important it is, because that's essentially, that's what you are going to, this is what houses your soul. It's important, you know.
That's very true.
But yeah, I definitely agree. We do have to, get healthy. And I feel like with the little that I do, put out and show, I try to encourage people through picture, because a picture says 1,000 things. Picture's worth 1,000 words, they say. So if you can see, me post a video of me working out, or if you see, me post a picture of food and how delicious it can be, you don't have to feel deprived because you are becoming vegan, or you see me working out, or it's not hard. It's not hard. The
Now,
excuses that we give make it appear hard, but it's not as hard as it seems.
right. Now, you're right about the pictures, because the pictures do show people, an example like a specific food that you can make veganized or things like that. But one thing I appreciate is the videos too. Now, I've seen some of your workout videos. I think you do an excellent job of displaying how you do some things, and just to show people how simple it is and everything. But I also, and I will say also again, appreciate the wellness videos you show. Now, I think it was quite a while back. You posted a wellness video doing a breast exam. And
Yes,
I think, you know, I think that's very important, what I'm saying, just to display. Because I actually saw this study. Now, I don't know how true it is, but they actually, no, it wasn't even a study. It was a book I was reading. It's a book entitled Medical Apartheid by Harriet
yes.
Washington.
Harriet Washington,
Yes.
yes,
And it was talking
yes.
about basically how they encourage women to get these mammograms done to prevent breast cancer and to catch breast cancer, but they were noticing that a lot of women started, the cancer risk increased actually with the mammogram. So,
Right.
just to see someone like yourself doing a, physical exam,
Mm-hmm.
it's just remarkable, what I'm saying? Because I think that's better, just for, women to know that you can care for your body and basically see what's going on with your body yourself. Now, being plant-based and everything, and, doing your own self-examinations, how important do you think those two going hand in hand with each other?
Well, I always feel like this, and I always tie this into the analogy of Neo when he went to go see the Oracle.
Okay.
You know, when he came through the door, he was looking for her to tell him who he was. And when she told him he wasn't the one, prior to her telling him that, she asked him to look on the wall. And she said, do you know what that says? And she said, it's Latin for know thyself. I think that no one or no doctor should be able to tell you what you shouldn't already know about yourself.
Right.
And see, this is where the study of the self gets put on the back burner, because we are supposed to spend 80% of our time learning about who we are. And I'm not talking about our personalities. I mean, if people really understood the complexity of the body alone, they would understand that it would take them years to figure out the mechanics and the beauty of the body.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about the glands that you have in your body, how many glands you have, the different compartments of the brain and its function, the different muscles that we have and its function, the lungs, their purpose, their function, the liver, the gallbladder, the spleen, the spine,
Yeah.
the bones, the respiratory system, the circulatory system, the endocrine system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All of these. This is why it takes doctors years, and doctors at a certain point won't be able to know everything. They have to go into specifics, the specifics of what they are trying to practice. We live in a society where we depend on the doctors to tell us about us. That's the problem. And I feel like, me touching myself, I would rather do that for myself, to know and feel for things that, that are, doesn't feel quite right, or let me make sure, everything's good. I should be able to know about me before a doctor tells me about myself. And I feel like that's important, because it teaches us the things that we need to discover about ourselves. It shouldn't take a doctor to tell you that, you're ill. You should, your body is going to give you symptoms, and if you go deeper within yourself, understand where that cause comes from, you can cure yourself. It has been done, time and time again. So I just feel like the more and more we study ourselves, the more and more we can eradicate the need for these quote-unquote doctors that really aren't healing us. They're just managing disease, if you ask me.
You know what?
It's
It's remarkable that you say that, because it's like, when you think about the wellness industry, quote unquote, they don't give you a cure. They give you treatment. And it's almost like it's to manage the ailment. So like you take
That's what
this
it
much,
is.
you take this much
Oh, yeah.
prescription, and you do this, you do that. It's just to manage it. It's not to get rid of it. It's just to maintain it so that you're not dead, but you're not
Right.
completely healthy.
Right. I read over some information from my own insurance company. And one of the incentives that they give is disease management.
Wow.
This is what they say. Yes. Have you noticed? I want you to just think about, in the past 10 years, think about the number of cancers that have been cured as opposed to the new cancers that have popped up.
Exactly.
Name 5 cancers that have been cured. But I bet you can name at least 10 new cancers that have come out now.
True.
So, this race for the cure, and, this, it's putting in, they're now saying that 1 out of every 3 Americans is going to develop cancer. So, what they are basically telling us is, and putting into our psyche, that you are going to get a disease. When you let that penetrate your mind, you have now accepted that as a thought. So that thought will process into your mind and cause a chemical reaction. Once that thought goes into your mind and causes a chemical reaction, you are now susceptible to receiving cancer.
Wow.
It's all psychological. All psychological. And they play these games on us with pictures of, hey, we can help you manage this disease if you just take this medication. But side effects include da-da-da-da. But you're going to get it anyway, so you're going to have to come to us. So here you go. These are the type of games, and we have to keep in mind that we're dealing with people who have studied psychology. These are scientists. These are masters of their craft. So they understand psychological warfare. They play these games. They're subtle. They're very subtle, but they play these games on us to make us believe that we have to have this. We have to have medication because, we have to. You can live with the disease. This is a psychological damage that they're putting on people. I'm an advocate for this disease. I'm an advocate for this. I'm an advocate for this. I'm an advocate for ADHD. I'm an advocate. I'm an autism mom. We don't even look for cures now. We look to be advocates for disease.
Yes.
And that's the sad part. So it's like, I'm a mom with a child that has MS, or like nobody is saying, well, I want to be the advocate for the cure. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's where we are right now as a society. And that particular dynamic has to change, because if we continue to accept disease as a norm, then we're doomed. We're doomed. Because that leads us to even, I think, question our own will in a higher power or God or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, do we not believe that we can be healed? Do we not believe that we don't have to have disease? So it really kind of puts us in a real mental battle with the powers that be. And I think only the strong will survive and know that you do not have to live with disease. You can be cured of any and everything. The body is just that magnificent. And, we just really got to get out of that mindset.
That's
really,
so true. I agree with it completely.
Especially us as Black people, because we just, I talk to so many people, and they're like, well, I'm on my medication, so I don't know if I could do it. Listen, consult your doctor or whatever, but at the end of the day, you didn't consult your doctor when you had the illness. You did what you had to do to create the illness. The doctor is now confirming what you have. Now you have to consult with your doctor to get rid of it. You understand what I'm saying? Now you have to consult with your doctor to take natural herbs, or you want to consult with your doctor to say, hey, listen, this medication is just, I don't know about taking it anymore, doc. I'm not feeling well. I want to go on alternative. Wow. Now they're our caregivers, to where we don't even have the willpower to take our health into our own hands now. we always have to consult with them. Like there are dads or there are moms, like we're little children. And we have been put in that mind state, and it's sad. It's really sad that the World Health, the state of American health, period. It's an extremely monetized mental slave camp. That's all I can say. Medical apartheid was definitely opened the eyes of the what happened to us as melanated people.
Yes.
Within the medical community. Sad, but that's the world we're living in now.
Yes, it's a very sad one, you know what I'm saying? But kind of touch bases on treatment again. So I agree completely with you about the whole thing about knowing yourself and know how to heal yourself. So one thing about that breast exam that I think I commented on it was that I read a study, and I don't know how real this is because, like I say, I read different stuff all the time. Some of it fact, some of it fiction. But it was saying that sucking on women's breast can help reduce cancer.
Yes, and we've lost sight of that as mothers.
Okay.
Women will not even allow their own babies to suck from their breasts, and the research is there. The research is there that women who breastfeed have a lower risk of getting breast cancer than women who don't. I mean, and the research is there.
Right.
The research is there. I mean, stimulation is part of one of the 7 laws, universal laws. You have the law of vibration. When we talk, when you and I converse, I am sending out a vibration.
Right.
With my voice, and you are receiving that. Everything. You and I are here on this earth through the law of vibration. The vibration of your mother and the vibration of your father came together one day. and that vibration reigned so supreme until it created a being that came down to this earth, and through the womb of that universe that you came out of, you're here. I'm here. My son is here.
Right.
And so to have someone vibrating, that's pulling from a place of nature and of divine substance. A woman's breast is the very first, that's the very first nurturing aspect of life that a child will ever know.
Okay.
I mean, when you cried as a baby, we cried out to be nurtured.
True.
That was the first rule of law for a child to understand its nature. When I cry out, I want my mother's breast. Right. Now, that child may get a bottle, but the nature of that child is to be nurtured by nature through Mother Nature, his mother, her mother. That vibration that the child gets from the mother, from sucking on the breast of that mother, that is nature in its purest form. That's nature in its purest form. So when that vibration happens, that is bringing more stimulation to the breast, more blood flow to the breast, so no disease can actually infiltrate that vibration.
Okay.
Even when men do it, because it's something that is so it is something that is so natural because men tend to always want to gravitate towards the nature of a woman.
Oh, yeah.
That's why he always wants to enter that, because that is something that he's familiar with from birth, you know?
True.
And so it's, you know, life is a cycle. We go through these cycles of life, and, you know, there are certain things that remind us of where we were in the womb, and we always want to, you know, get closer to that. And so that vibration really is a healthy thing. You know, it's just like couples who have sex regularly live longer than people who don't, you know. So we just have to get back to just basic laws of nature, you know.
So,
But that is a true study. That is a very true study, that women who allow the sucking of the breast, whether it's through a child or their loved one, their lover, you know, they do have a lower risk of breast cancer. That's definitely a fact. So I do agree with you on that.
So let me ask you this, because, and I want to go a little deep on this one, because I'm always interested in this, because one thing I'm trying to really get a good grasp on is how sex basically heals the body. Not only how it heals the body, but is used as a good prevention tool for disease. Now, you know, I've heard stories from when semen enters a woman's body, it can make her happier, it can help her, you know, I guess with menstrual, you know, symptoms and things of that nature. So many different things I've heard about that. And I've heard all of these good things about what it does to women. But one thing I've always was interested in is the therapeutic results that happen with men with sex. Now,
Mm-hmm.
for instance, with the whole sucking and vibration thing, would that whole, I guess, theory work alongside with a man's chest, or, for instance, his testicles? You know, because, you know,
Mm-hmm.
just knowing as a man, of course, you like that feeling or whatever, but, you know, the whole therapeutic and health cleansing. And you know, like I said, I don't want to get too deep, but I want to get deep because,
Mm-hmm.
you know, a lot of people that listen to my interviews, like, this is a different side. You know, I don't really get to discuss sexual health because that's extremely important. Of safe sex, of course, you know, safe sex, making sure
Right.
everybody is, you know, got the good status with the results and everything. But as far as like the true
Right.
exploration of that therapeutic healing.
Right. Right. And it happens before the actual act.
Okay.
And what a lot of people don't know is that you can actually be healed of any ailment through through sex if you are practicing it in a holistic way.
Oh, wow.
You know, even holding back your orgasms for you know 9 times, and on that 10th time you actually release, no disease can touch you.
Wow.
A lot of people don't do that, but
Wow.
it's studying sex on a deeper level, and on a very spiritual aspect. There was a brother, and I would hate to chop up his name, but I think his name is Baba Shango. I can't think of his first name.
Shakamuku Barashanko?
Shakamugu, yes.
I think I know you're talking
Yes.
about.
Say his name one more time.
Is Shakamusu Barashanko?
Isakamushu Barashango. He talked about the black woman being God.
Okay, yeah.
And he talked about this ancient practice called Mayafuna, where the priest, if he wanted to become a priest, he would have to please the woman. And once he was able to enter her, that what happens with him as a man is that when he enters her and he begins to have an orgasm, that 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 particular, no, when the woman has an orgasm, her vibration hits the base of his spine and goes all the way up from that kundalini energy all the way up to his brain, to where he's able to receive the messages from the universe. That is how powerful our sex energy is. If you just look at the powerful images of sexual pictures, art, sexual art. Black art is some of the most powerful sexual art. Our imagery just shows how powerful we are when we connect on a sexual level.
Yes.
And there's so many different levels of sex. A lot of times we just touch the base. We want to get that feeling, and, we want to be done with it. But, there are certain positions that help clear the lungs. There are certain positions that help heal the certain organs in the body. Oh my gosh, it's like you said, that's a whole different, that's like one subject.
You're gonna have to forward me that. You're gonna have to forward me that information. I need that.
Definitely.
Well,
Yeah, but it's definitely a deeper. It's something that does need to be talked about on a deeper spiritual and emotional level.
Yeah.
Because we just like we need to talk about sexual health, we need to talk about sexual dysfunction and how to be able to distinguish between the two, because you can be having unhealthy sex and be sick from that. Not necessarily from a physical level, contracting an illness, but mentally, because that is an exchange.
Wow.
That is a spiritual exchange. And so if that person is having a bad thought while they're inside of you, that could penetrate through you, and now you wondering why you walking around thinking those same thoughts that that person thought.
Wow.
It gets deep. It gets deep, but
and you know what? Just to piggyback off of that also kind of ties into people with multiple partners. Because it's almost like you taking on those different spirits. So the most partners you have, the most spirits you have dwelling in you, and it's like depending on the energy that you had with those different spirits, it could be the reason why you can never really have that true, good, happy love that you're looking for. So, yeah, that's some real deep stuff right there.
Right, and it happens all the time. Oh, yeah. It gets deep.
Wow, but to kind of segue off of that to something else about the sexual dysfunction, our late great ancestor, Dr. Sabi, R.I.P. to him. But I remember, I guess it was remarkable to people that he was so high up in age and still ended up getting his wife pregnant.
Right.
And I think when we last spoke, you were telling me about how I don't remember if he was in his 40s or something. I don't know how old he was, but you said that he was dealing with impotence.
Yes. He was diabetic. He was impotent, and he was dealing with one other ailment. I think he had high blood pressure.
Okay.
But yes, and fasting and taking the herbs from a Mexican that he met cured him of all of that.
Wow.
So, just removing certain things out of it, just removing everything out of your life and implementing new things into your life will change your life.
That's
It's just as simple as that. Yeah.
Okay, so basically, and that's not an issue that I have, of course, but just for people that are dealing with that, the plant-based method is the way to go. Because one thing I will
Yeah.
say is that the energy level is impeccable, and that's something I can really
Yeah.
attest to because I have a very physical, day job, so it requires me to have a lot of energy, not to mention strength. And throughout the course of the day, just from lifting heavy boxes or, moving heavy equipment left and right, it will take a toll on you. And it's just remarkable how just a cup or half a cup of almonds will just rejuvenate me, throughout the course of the day, or just having some fresh fruit or some vegetables, it just gives me so much
Right.
energy. And I talk to people all the
Right.
time because they often tease me at my job saying, oh, I don't see how you got all these muscles, but you just eat vegetables all the time. I was like, well, it's not just vegetables I eat. I eat more than just vegetables. But the thing is, the food I eat is my fuel. That's part of the reason I named my website Plant Fueled Fit Life, because
Right.
I don't feel like I want to sit down and tranquilize myself when I time to eat lunch. And it's like I see it all the time. People eat lunch and they get the itis. They don't want to do anything. They want to take a nap. And I equate that to if you go to the gas station and put gas in your vehicle and your car just dies on you. You're gonna be thinking like, what the hell did I just do to my car? I went to the gas station,
Right.
which is its food, and the car don't want to run.
Right.
So why would you do that to your
Right.
body? So it's like, it's just remarkable. And just to wrap things up, like one thing that I like to do is I like to ask people what inspires them. So as far as plant-based people, whether they're, current or, late people, who inspires you the most now that you're in the lifestyle?
Um, and it's funny that you say, those who are deceased, because I actually am inspired by those who are no longer here.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm inspired by those who are no longer here is because they left a living legacy. And one day I'm not going to be here.
Right.
And I always want to think of myself in the past, present, and future. And I want to be able to say to myself, a year from now, wow, I made a big change. And I want to be able to know that my children and my children's children can say, my mother was the type of person who believed that anything was possible if you were able to live your life according to certain. If you ate right, you lived right, and you treated people right, you're going to have the right type of life. So I say that a lot of people inspire me. Dr. Sadie was one. My grandmother was one. My goodness. I actually get inspired by my children.
Wow.
I get inspired by oh yeah, to me, they are a representation of the past and the present and the future. Watching them, grow from these, little babies into men. I'm very proud. I get inspired by nature more so now than ever. I'm so inspired by the things that don't speak, you know, uh, those things. I Yeah, that's right now. That is what has inspired me. Just observing nature and kind of observing that quiet spirit within myself as well. But definitely, definitely one of my biggest inspirations is my ancestors, for
Okay.
sure.
That's a great inspiration to ancestors because, it messes me up sometimes when people want to say stuff like, "Oh, we not our grandparents, or we not this, we not that." I don't know who y'all talking about because my ancestors were some riders. You know what I'm saying? Because I got to be honest with myself. For it to trickle down to me as far as it did, and I still have that attitude of empowerment and that revolutionary mindset, my ancestors had to be the same way. So that's something
Oh,
I definitely
definitely.
can't agree with the people that say I'm out my ancestors. I'm gonna do this. Like, no, well, I am mine because mine were riders. They paved the way for me
And
to be the descendant I am.
right, nothing is new under the sun.
No,
So, we all come back. We either evolve or we come back here. And we all are connected. So we are living in the past, present, and future simultaneously. So, a lot of people don't want to, I think it's a detachment, cognitive dissonance, I think. That's what they
yeah,
call it.
uh-huh,
We just don't want to be connected to, the pain or the struggle of what we had to go through. But that's progress, though, if we think about it, because all the things that our ancestors have gone through have propelled us to where we are today. Now, I'm not saying that we're in a better place, but we're here,
right.
you know? So we got to do the best that we can and make our ancestors proud.
Yes, we do. And we definitely are doing that each step of the way by having powerful conversations like this, just sharing this information with other like-minded people, as well as people that are curious about the plant-based lifestyle, because this isn't just something that's reserved for elite white people. This is something that melanoid people of African descent have lived in truthfully for thousands of years,
Yes,
and it's something that we
yes.
can also pass along to future generations about the wellness of it. So, Havalyn, I do thank you again for having this conversation with me. I know the first time it was messed up, but I do appreciate you for taking this time. I didn't want to hold you too long, but the conversation got good as it did last time. I just
Right.
I want you to go ahead and, just say all of your contact information. If you have business information you want to share with us, anything of that nature, just share it so that everybody that listens to this can hear.
Well, I actually am, I'm in the process of doing some research on some Savvy-inspired compounds. So, yeah, I'm actually working on that. Um, my contact information right now, you can feel free to contact me on Facebook, Havalyn Davis at Facebook.com. I'm also on Instagram, ms_HAV1. I'm not really on Twitter or what else is out there? Twitter and YouTube and all those different things. But yeah, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah, you guys, if you have any questions, feel free to DM me or message me on Facebook. I'll gladly answer all of your questions. On my Facebook page, I do a Meatless Monday once a month. So, come over to my page and, get a few vegan ideas. And, yeah, I look forward to seeing people, get on this bandwagon.
One thing I can say to co-sign is Haviland does respond on Instagram. No, regardless of her
I
having
do.
a large following, she responds to every comment. So, that's another good thing. If people want to ask you questions, they definitely don't have to worry about you not responding or whatever, as long as you're
Yes,
respectful. We will throw that out there. Be
right,
respectful, though. It's a grown ass woman.
right,
Be
right.
respectful, please.
Right, right, and just feel free. If you have any questions, I'm very tangible.
Mm.
Um, I think a lot of people want to, have this imagery of, oh, on Instagram and I have all these followers and likes and things like that. But I do it for the love. And, if anybody has any questions about um, health or whatever it is, just feel free to contact me. I'll be more than willing to help.
Well, all
More
right.
than willing.
That is definitely good to know.